What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, and we are here to bring you some breaking news. A confirmed deal, signed, sealed, delivered. Conor Gallagher is holding up the Spurs shirt. And yeah, it's great. First signing of the January transfer window. We thought it was going to be Sousa, but it looks like Gallagher pipped him ahead. It's quite interesting what we can do when we're on the ball and we actually want to get a signing done. We get it done quite quickly because we got the here we go, what, a couple of days ago, and already he's signed, sealed, delivered in a Spurs shirt.
Well, it was crazy how it all played out because he looked all set for Villa. Even about half an hour before we got the here we go, there were reports saying he's going to choose Villa over Tottenham. He's not got no interest in Tottenham. There was some very reliable journalists saying that. Then half an hour later, we've got the here we go. The Tottenham hijack has been complete. We've desperately needed a midfielder. We've definitely reacted to the injuries that we've had this window, most notably to Rodrigo Bentancur, and obviously Lucas Bergvall has gone down with a groin injury. So as much as there are definitely more holes to fill in this squad, I think the signing of Conor Gallagher definitely represents Tottenham being serious in this window, acting swiftly and getting in someone who's ready now and ready to contribute.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm delighted with the signing. Look, do I think he's the answer to all our problems and Spurs are going to be unbelievable now? No, but I think he is a player that raises the level of the squad and comes in as one of our best midfielders in the squad straight away. So I'm delighted with that. We still need a kind of a ball progressor in the middle of the park. That's a definite situation that Spurs need to fill in this January transfer window, I hope, but it doesn't. I don't think we're going to get him. I don't think we're going to get the player we want. So with Conor Gallagher, he signed in time to play against West Ham to make his debut this weekend, which is going to be great to see the hero's welcome that he gets at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this weekend. But let's go and see how the signing has been announced through Tottenham Hotspur. It was announced literally 8 minutes ago, or well, 20 minutes ago now. And the first video that they gave us was this one below.
Yeah.
And here we go.
Heart, energy,
feels like every announcement
grit,
is basically so similar now.
demanding more, standing tall, driving us forward. I'm Conor Gallagher. I'm here to give everything.
They're like, come on, Conor, give us I always wanted Spurs.
Come on, give us.
Give us, it was only ever Spurs.
Heart,
yeah, nice little video.
energy.
I think he suits the shirt.
Definitely
I think
suits the shirt.
It looks good in white.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely suits it more than that blue.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, for sure. And that red and white in Atletico, it never quite fit.
Nah, it didn't. It never suited him, to be honest. This is the perfect fit. If you scroll up, you'll see him holding up that Spurs shirt with that. Look at that big smile on his face.
He's delighted. He's
buzzing to be there. Look at it.
100%.
You can't wait for that relegation battle.
He's going to keep us up. He can't wait.
So Spurs tweeted out, "We are delighted to announce the signing of Conor Gallagher from Atletico Madrid, subject to international clearance." So I'm not sure what that means, international clearance, but he's British passport, so it can't be a work permit. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe someone else with more knowledge on the matter can let me know in the comments section. And there you have it. Welcome to North London, Conor, as well.
So are we going to go through the statement on the website?
That's exactly what we're going to do.
That's exactly what we're going to do.
So there's the statement on the website. Tottenham Hotspur are delighted to announce the signing of Conor Gallagher from Atletico Madrid, subject to international clearance. The 25-year-old England international has signed a long-term contract with the club. Conor said, "I'm so happy and excited to be here, taking the next step in my career at an amazing club. I wanted to be a Spurs player, and thankfully the club felt the same. It was very easy, it happened very quickly, and I'm ready to get on the pitch."
I wanted to be a Spurs player, eh?
Dagger in every Chelsea
As he
fan's
always
heart.
wanted to be a Spurs player. Come on.
Exactly. When he was lining up for Chelsea, he was just thinking, I just wish I was at Spurs, man.
Exactly.
I just wish. It was probably all the feeders that Pochettino was feeling in. Like, what a great club that Spurs is.
Exactly. He's been laying the groundwork, Poch, Agent Poch, from day one.
He says, "I know how great the fans are. I'm really happy to be a part of it here. I want to create special moments and memories together." Our head coach, Thomas Frank, said, "Conor is a top midfielder who we have previously worked tirelessly to add to our squad. He is still young, so has plenty of room for improvement, but also has huge experience across the Premier League, La Liga, and the England national team. Connor has captained teams who will bring leadership, maturity, character, and personality to our dressing room, whilst his running power, pressing ability, and eye for goal will strengthen us in a key area of the pitch. I'm excited about working with him every day, and I know the fans will love what he brings to the team. A passionate, versatile and energetic midfielder, Connor began his professional career with Chelsea, starring in their youth teams before making his way to the first team at the end of 18-19 season, which included him being a part of the Europa League final winning squad. Fruitful loans followed at Charlton Athletic, Swansea and West Brom, gaining Premier League experience, and the latter before his breakthrough campaign came in 21-22 as he joined Crystal Palace on a season-long loan. Featured 39 times, scoring 8 times across the campaign at Selhurst Park. Connor was named as Eagles Player of the Season as the South London side fell shy of a top 10 finish while they reached the FA Cup semi-final. Returning to Chelsea ahead of the following season, the central midfielder soon made his first team debut for the West London side, going on to make 45 appearances in all competitions that term, as well as scoring his first senior goal for Chelsea. Showcasing his leadership qualities, he regularly wore the captain's armband in the 23-24 season, as he featured a further 50 occasions for the Blues in all competitions, contributing 16 goals after making 136 Premier League appearances. Connor headed to Spain to join Atletico Madrid in August 2024 and went on to play 77 times in all competitions for the La Liga side, scoring 7 times. Featuring in the Champions League in both of his campaigns in the Spanish capital, he registered his first goal in the competition in March 2025, scoring just after 27 seconds in the round of 16 tie against Atletico City rivals Real Madrid. In doing so, became the first Englishman to score in a Madrid derby. It was the fastest goal scored by an Englishman in the history of the Champions League. Representing England across numerous age groups, Connor was part of the Young Lions side, which lifted the Under-17 World Cup in 2027, before he was called to the senior side for the first time in November 2021, earning his first cap shortly after a 10-0 victory over San Marino. Called up for his country to the 2022 World Cup and the 2024 Euros, where he helped England in Berlin final. He netted the first England goal in November 2024, coming on in the Nations League fixture against Ireland. To date, he has 22 senior caps to his name. So a very, for a young man, he's actually quite experienced, isn't he?
It surprised me he has 22 caps. I didn't realise that he's been picked so much for England over the years. In my mind, he played like less than 10, so that's quite impressive. Obviously, he says, I know how great the fans are, better than the Chelsea fans. That's what he's saying. That's what he's implying. That's what I'm reading into his statement, that's for sure. But yeah, look, he's very experienced. As you said, he's had many seasons in the Premier League. He's now played in big games in Spain as well, and in the Champions League, captained Chelsea on many occasions. This is a guy as well, I feel like he's a bit of a big game player as well. I always feel like when there's big important games, he likes to take that responsibility, and I feel his way of playing is going to immediately endear himself to the fans. And he's one of those where, yes, he can be frustrating sometimes when it comes to maybe some loose passes, or his vision, isn't the best when it comes to being a creative passer. But what he's going to give is 100%. He's going to leave everything out there on the pitch, and he loves a full-blooded challenge. He loves getting involved in duels. And actually, that season where he captained Chelsea, he was 4th for duels won, and the player who was 2nd was Paulinho. So we now have in our midfield 2 of the best duel winners in the Premier League, and I think the way Frank likes to play, he loves relying on duels, and I think in our current setup, who knows how long it will last, but in our current setup, how we play, I think Frank's going to love having someone like Conor Gallagher in the team, and he also is very aggressive presser. I think, again, in that season with Chelsea, he was 2nd only to Odegaard for possession won in the final third, and I think he's one of those who presses with intent. He doesn't just go to close someone down, he actually goes to actively win the ball and tries to get you back on the front foot, and I think that's something maybe we've been missing.
Yeah, and I think when you're looking at the makeup of our midfield now, obviously Rodrigo Bentancur and Archie Gray have been playing alongside each other for a number of months quite consistently now, and with Rodrigo Bentancur, you've seen some really good performances, but you've seen some really poor performances, and I think what Connor's going to give us is that kind of base level of performance kind of every game. You know what you're going to get. Really hard worker. I think the injuries have taken its toll on Rodrigo Bentancur, and he hasn't been able to keep up that level of intensity and kind of performance level. And I think Conor Gallagher is going to be a step forward in that direction. And obviously with Bentancur being out injured, I think the go-to double pivot surely is going to be Conor Gallagher and João Palhinha now for the foreseeable. I hope that's going to be the case anyway, unless he goes for Conor in the 10 and then maybe a Javi out left. I really want to see Conor Gallagher alongside Palhinha with Javi in the 10. And our midfield has been, sometimes been quite easy to play against, and teams find it easy to win that midfield battle against us at times this season. I think, like you say, with the dual winners, with Palhinha and Conor Gallagher, them two playing alongside each other, surely that's going to make us much more difficult to play against.
Well, it's definitely, they cover so much ground. They're very, very strong. So I 100% agree. I think... I think it's going to be very difficult for oppositions to come up against our midfield and think they can dominate us and get the better of us physically. In terms of what our number one midfield is going to be, it's going to be interesting because obviously he's preferred Bentancur over Palhinha, and he's mainly gone for Bentancur plus, Gray. Now, with Gallagher coming in, if he's a replacement for Bentancur, would we not say maybe it's going to be Gallagher and Gray maybe starting? Because if he's coming to replace Bentancur because of his injury, I'm not saying he's going to be the 6 per se. And if you look, to be fair, you look at how he played Gray against Villa. Gray was the one dropping deeper and spraying the passes. Palhinha was a bit further forward in build-up, that is. So I actually think, given that he hasn't been starting Palhinha a lot, I think that I reckon the number one will be Gallagher and Gray for now, and then in certain games where we really need to win that midfield battle, or we need to maybe be on the back foot more, I think Palhinha and Gallagher will be the pivot.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like I said in the previous video, I do envisage him looking at Gallagher as more of a 10 and could potentially play him in the 10 alongside a Javi on the left. But what I want to see is Palhinha alongside Conor Gallagher as the two sitters. I think that could be, I think that will make us a really hard proposition and a hard team to play through. And I think that's been a big problem with Spurs so far this season. So, look, I would like to see Gallagher and Gray as well in the middle. And I think, with the nature of how the season's going to go and the amount of games that we're going to have to play, I think you'll see a wide variation of different kind of combinations in the middle for Spurs. So I think what Conor brings us is versatility. So he can play in the 10, he can play in the 8, he can play alongside an Archie Gray as well. So I think, I think it'll bring us variation. I don't think it's just going to be like one set thing and that's all we're going to see. I think we're going to see plenty of different combinations in the middle of the park. Has been confirmed as well. He is going to be wearing the number 22 shirt for Tottenham Hotspur, which, goes on a long line of great 22s that Spurs have had at the football club. Brennan Johnson being the latest. Pierluigi Gallini before that. Pablo Gazzaniga before that. Nasser Chadli before that. Gylfi Sigurdsson, less said about him the better. Vedran Chorluka, Tom Huddleston, Lee Barnard, Robbie Keane, Andy Sinton, Alan Nilsson, and the rest of them.
And some others. Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't get the number 5, because I thought that would be the perfect number for him.
Højbjerg's number. We haven't had number 5 since Højbjerg, I don't think.
We haven't. So I'm a bit surprised that he wasn't given that one. But look, 22, fine number. He was 23 at Chelsea. Brennan Johnson, very quickly forgotten. His number's already been given away. So he's got, in terms of being a cult hero, he's got a bit to live up to. Brennan obviously scoring the winner in the Europa League final against Man United. But I've got a feeling that Gallagher will be a cult hero here. I think he's going to be much loved. I think fans will very quickly take to him.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to instantly be straight in the team. Has to be on Saturday against
absolutely.
West Ham.
So
starting 11.
So what do you envisage? Do you think the team on Saturday will be Gallagher and Gray?
That's what I want to see, to be honest.
But what do you think will...
Yeah, I think it will be Gallagher and Gray, actually.
Gallagher, Gray, Javi.
Yeah.
I think against West Ham, I think that's probably what we should do.
Yeah.
Just have as many forward-thinking players as possible.
Exactly, and just take the game to them. And I think with Gray, you just need someone who's able to progress the ball, thinks about progressing the ball a bit more. I think if you've got João and Gallagher, I don't know if I feel like again, you're just lending yourself to another stodgy performance. You're setting yourself up for that, and I feel like in the game you're going to have to rectify it at some point. Like you're going to have to bring on another player in the midfield to get yourself to be a bit more forward thinking. So I think again there'll be certain games where Gallagher and Zhao can be in a pivot, but I think Saturday calls for more Gray and Gallagher. And again, I think Frank, he hasn't been playing Paulinho that often. Obviously, he was forced to play him against Villa, but he did have a great game, so credit to Zhao. But I think at the moment, when it comes to us having our best team or whatever, or the team that Frank wants out there, I don't think Zhao's in that team at the moment, how he's been picking the team. So I do think it's going to be Gallagher and Gray. Or does he put him forward in the 10 and move Xavi over, but then Tell's having such a good time at the moment? I don't think you'd want to do that. So, yeah, I think for Saturday, I think I would play Gallagher and Gray.
Bring up a tweet on the Spurs Express of Conor Gallagher. I think it's a post, Conor Gallagher's post on Instagram. It's him. This must be his dog. Hopefully, we don't have some sort of dog at the training ground, and Vina is not doing some more infiltration.
Oh, it's not the what was that dog that was part of that sponsorship we had? Was it a paint?
Dulux dog.
Dulux dog. It's not the Dulux dog.
No, that's Connor's dog. That's Connor's dog.
It's a lovely dog.
Cute dog,
Very
isn't
cute.
it? Yeah.
Very cute.
But yeah, so on Instagram he says, "New beginning. Can't wait to get started. See you all on Saturday."
All right, so he's ready. He's rocking and rolling.
Yeah, hopefully it's not just going to be an introduction to the fans. He'll definitely be in the squad, surely.
Yeah, I think so. No, I think he'll be starting. I'm certain he'll be starting, especially because we've got such low numbers at the moment. We just need him. So, albeit you could say how much training is going to have between now and Saturday, and also we've had a week break. We would have had a week break since the last game, so there's not much of a need necessarily for a rest for the players that played on Saturday. But I think when someone like Conor comes in, I just think it gives everyone a lift. It gives the fans a lift. It'll give the team a lift. Just get him straight in there. I think that's what needs to happen. A bit like, when we signed Van der Ven a couple of days before Brentford in the opening day, and we just chucked him straight in.
This is actually longer. This is actually longer.
Yeah.
Wait to when we signed Mickey and threw him back straight in. And this is like Connor's been in the squad for Atletico all season. You know what I mean? There's no reason for him not to be match fit or anything like that. So he should be prime, proper, and ready to go straight into the starting lineup, hopefully, on the weekend.
Just he's done a goodbye message to the Atletico fans as well on his Instagram, saying, it said it's been an absolute pleasure to be part of the family for the last 2 years. The culture and the community of the club is very special. It's been a privilege to represent this great club and all the people involved in and around it. The fans, you gave me all the support, and I always gave you my best at every given opportunity. A huge thanks to all my teammates and staff associated within the club. Thank you for everything. I wish the club all the best for the rest of the season and for the foreseeable future. An experience and a city that I will never forget. So, obviously a very nice message there for Conor to the leaving Atletico fans. Yeah, I was reading a bit more about Atletico, why it didn't quite work out with him. Obviously, we're actually going to have an Atletico fan on tomorrow who will give us maybe more specifics. But I was reading an article. They were saying because Simeone likes to play 4-4-2. He likes his midfielders, because they're only in a double pivot with no number 10, they need to be just a little bit more technical, and they need to have an ability to progress the ball really accurately. And when you're playing out wide, he likes obviously players who like to dribble a bit more and obviously better offensively. And Gallagher never quite fit either mode, and also their number 10s are more shadow strikers than they are midfielders, whereas Gallagher's very much more of a midfielder push forward rather than like a striker dropping deep, and that's not how they like then two players going the forward line as well. So I think it makes sense from that point of view. There's not really a natural fit for Conor Gallagher in that kind of system, but hopefully for us, in terms of how we play, there should be enough space for him.
Yeah, I think he fits what Frank wants to do really well, to be honest. I think he has all the fundamentals that Frank wants to see. I think he adds that kind of bigger goal threat than we have so far in the middle of the park. it just begs the question, what happens to the other players? Because we spoke before we were even linked to Conor Gallagher this window about the need to bring Basuma back into the frame, into the fold. Is that still the thinking? Are we still thinking that Basuma comes back into the fold? He's back from the AFCON now. And I think as well for Pape Matar Sarr, like obviously this season hasn't gone according to plan for him, albeit it started very well, but it's not going too well for him this season. What does the future hold for someone like Pape Matar Sarr?
Yeah, there's a lot of question marks with this signing because of the profile he is. As we've mentioned, that's actually one of the profiles in our squad. We do have depth overall, with the likes of Bergvall, Gray, and Pape. So obviously he's more experienced. He's going to be the starter more often than not in that position. So where does that leave three players who all need the game time to gain that experience and develop in the right way? We know Bergvall, he got our player of the season last year, and he's very highly thought of. Archie Gray, has been pretty good, but, hasn't quite been at the level to be, you would say, a starting midfielder week in, week out to a level that we want to be at, which is, challenging the top six and being in that position. Is Gray right now a top six midfielder? I think the answer for that would be no. Has he got the potential to be? Yes, but again, he needs the game time to develop. And Pape Matar Sarr, would say he's definitely ready to be consistently starting in the Premier League, but has he developed in this season to that kind of midfielder that we're just waiting to explode? We're waiting for him to really fulfill his potential, because I think we all know he's got bags of ability and he's got boundless amounts of energy, but he hasn't quite made that step up from being a regular Premier League starter to a midfielder that's ready to start for a top six club just yet. Now, hopefully, we think Gallagher definitely fits that role. He could be a top six midfielder ready to start right now. So they can't all kind of get the game time, you would say, needed to develop in a timely manner. So one of them's going to have to be the fall guy. I don't know. I don't think anyone leaves in the short term. I think it's maybe in a summer thing. But who's going to be the guy leaving in the summer? Because they can't all stay.
I think it's Pape. I really believe it's Pape, because I can't see Spurs cutting their losses on Archie Gray or Lucas Bergvall, both of them such young talents and both have such a big future, in my opinion. Pape's been here for that much longer. And look, Pape in itself, he's a big talent, and he's got a big future as well, I believe. So, but he's been here for the longest period. And I think his development probably hasn't gone as maybe we all thought over the last year or so.
Yeah, but why hasn't that happened? There's been a lot of struggles in this squad over the past 2 years for whatever reasons. I would hate to lose Pape. I think it'd be a mistake. I would rather loan Gray out and keep Pape and give Gray that time to develop out on loan. Who's more ready now? Is it Gray or Pape? You definitely say, I would say Pape right now. And I think Gray needs that game time to develop, albeit I think he's developing nicely. Obviously, I think the commentator is right there. Sell Bentancur, that obviously solves one of the problems, but we need that number 6 as his replacement, not really a number 8. That's how we've been playing him. We've been playing him more in a defensive midfield role. So if I'm doing squad planning, I would loan Gray out to a Premier League team, maybe a mid-table one or a bottom half one. Let him develop there. Keep Pape around. Just see how he gets on with a bit more time. If it really isn't working out still, then maybe sell Pape and bring Gray back into the fold. That's kind of how I'll go.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against that. I wouldn't be against that at all. But look, that is the news for today. Conor Gallagher is a Tottenham player, signed, sealed and delivered. It's official. He's holding up the shirt, and hopefully we're going to see him this weekend at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to make his debut against West Ham. I can't wait now. It brings it a bit more excitement to the game this weekend.
Does he score on his debut?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I think he does.
He's one of those players where, I think he can pick up these big moments, and I think he's not going to be scared of the occasion. I think if he gets a chance, I reckon I'll back him to bury it.
I agree. Super chat here says,